help you. Well, see, that's the thing. I have a rheumatologist that loves me. I have a physician that loves me. They really, truly love me. My physician treated me without, I didn't have any insurance at the time, and on disability, and he was like, just give me $25. Can you give me $25? Of course, it's $250 this year. He's like, I need to have you diagnosed. That's because he cared. And so I tell people this all the time. I have the best rheumatologist. I have the best doctor.
Dr. Lee?
And it's very, no, my rheumatologist is Dr. Colcap.
Oh, you're at Colcap now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Dr. Lee.
I've been there. I've been with Dr. Colcap the whole time.
Okay.
But yeah. So when they come in, when I come in, they have a seat. Okay, tell me what's going on. They're not rushing. They're not, trying to get to the next patient. Okay, is that it? He sits there. Is that it? Anything else? He will sit there however long it takes me.
And that'll change. I mean, the way that we heal depends on how the way that we're treated by our doctors, whether we get respect or whether we're treated like a number, whether we're treated like cattle or whether we're treated with respect like a patient.
And that's why it's so important to make sure like that. Yes, that you have that doctor.
I'm a little emotional because I haven't seen her in such a long time. The last time I've seen her, you were just really struggling and really going through it. And to see her looking so healthy, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but you look so much better than last week. I mean, but she was struggling, with this, having a hard time. Yeah. So you're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs, but your attitude is everything, and that's the only way you're gonna beat this.
And sometimes it's, sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's both, and when the doctors aren't hearing you, then it's important for you to don't be afraid to call and tell that customer service, you know what, my doctors aren't hearing me. They're not listening to me. I need another doctor.
And remember, you guys, you're the one, even though you have insurance and your insurance is paying, sometimes we do go and pay out of pocket, but you're the one paying for them to treat you. So never forget who has the upper hand, who's in control. If you want to switch, from Dr. Lee, all of us have different, like I know Kaiser or private insurances and things like that. We have a lot of referrals that we could give you if you're not happy with your doctor. But I think that's probably, besides, surrounding yourself with the right type of energy and people, I think the doctor is probably one of the most important things to have. Someone who's supportive, that cares, that doesn't treat you like a number, and is willing to sit there and say, you know what else? Because initially when I was diagnosed, my doctor treated me like a number. And I had to take, put my foot down and say, you know what? I need you to take an extra 10 to 15 minutes out of your schedule for me every day. I don't care what you do. And he had to do it. Well, he didn't have to, but he did honor that request, but he only honored it because I asked. And I feel like we have to have that doctor-patient relationship. And if you're unable to establish that with them, then just move on.
And if you feel like you're not able to do that because you're either nervous or you're tired, which we all do, take somebody with you.
Yes.
Take somebody with you who you trust, who can say the words for you.
Right. No, I'm very vocal about everything. Like I said, right now I'm in transition to like being vegan because I feel like I tried every other option, but taking that serious, and there's a lot of holistic healers and things that I believe in because it's like the only last choice that I have. So I can only speak as much as I've done and accomplished for myself. And right now, that's where I'm at. I want to be healed. I want to be one of the ones that can heal and tell people this is how you heal yourself. Because I'm tired and I know the pain. I've been in the hospital. I have 2 kids. I know all the pain that you guys talk about. I know it, but I've done it by myself. And it hurts me to see other people in pain. And then I'm looking at you in pain and I can't do nothing. Like that tears me up.
But remember that in order for you to heal, you have to take care of yourself. yourself and not worry about them. It's hard.
Yeah.
It is
Stress
hard.
is bad.
Right,
But
that's
you
why I'm
stressing about
transitioning.
everybody else in here isn't gonna work for you.
Oh no! I'm trying to heal
Yeah.
myself first. I keep on saying I'm in transition to vegan. I'm. That's what
But
I'm
you
doing
keep
right
saying
now.
that you feel their pain, you feel their pain, you feel their pain. You can't worry about their pain when you're trying to heal yourself.
That's only helping. That's fuel to the fire on why. That's even why I'm here today.
Yeah.
You see all you guys that are in pain. It's been a long time. You know, you have to give hope to the future too to even carry that mission on. It needs to be more people saying we're going to heal. This is how we're going to build. This is how we're going to build on healing and be stern about it for those who are serious. I don't want to be comfortable in my illness. I don't want to feed this illness as well. I want to do everything in my power I do to heal myself first so I can be a walking testimony and you can see this girl was, you guys didn't see me when I was sick. Now y'all don't know when I almost died. Y'all didn't see that. But for those who have, like my friend here, my neighbor who has seen me, who had to help me with my children when I couldn't even feed them. Well, my children that I couldn't even feed. You know, right now I'm strong enough to even be at this meeting. I know her from Instagram for a long time. You know, she even knows people in my family. That don't mean that I've been to all of her things because I wasn't strong enough to go. I barely was strong enough to come today. But I wanted to come not just for me because we're all in this village together, right? Are we not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We all need to be encouraging each other to heal and to get better.
My thing is, don't stress yourself out.
Oh, it's not a
over
stress.
yourself.
It's not a
That's
stress.
pain.
It's an encouragement because you guys don't always see me here.
Okay.
You know, because I'm working on myself. I only been here once.
Because there's
That's
other
to encourage and to help.
There's other
and to
people
build
who
in this
stress
group.
themselves out because there's so many other people in pain that they make themselves sick over worry.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That
You
there's
can't
people
worry.
in pain.
You can't worry.
Yeah, and she
You
knows,
can't
Brandy
worry.
knows that.
And you can't worry
Brandy
and
knows
help
that.
somebody. Because
Yeah.
if you worry,
That's what it sounds
You
like.
can't
I know, and I got you.
Yeah.
I think she's
we
just
don't know each other.
expressing.
We're just meeting each
Yeah.
other as a group. This is a group thing.
Yeah.
So.
And we
You know?
all, I think, honestly, well, you know, there's a couple of you that I don't know, like, your full story, but I think most of us have been on our deathbed. I even know Michelle just recently. I was so worried about you. But we've all been there. And like you said, like, we've all been there, done that. We all know, you know, how much your story, what you've been through. And we all have a story to tell. And I don't think vegan is your last option. I think you have a lot of options. Coming here, finding, you know, your group of people to support you is also an option. And I think there will be plenty more options that God will place on your path. Just don't focus on just one thing. Know that there's going to be many options and ways and avenues for you to heal and feel better. You know, and then the vegan and being here is just one of them, but there's so many more to come. And just know that, you know, if not us, me will be here for you regardless of how hard it gets or what you need or questions you have. If I don't know the answer, I guarantee you there's someone in here that I'll find that does for you, whatever it might be, because I know how the desperation can be in trying to heal and get better. We want to be here for our kids and for our loved ones and for our future. And same passion and mission that you have. I don't want to see these people that I care for and love so deeply in pain because we don't deserve to. But in moving on, thank you guys for your intros and thank you for coming. I'm really appreciative. I know that a lot of times, you know, we share our stories and we get to hear everything, but you guys just being here means a lot for me. So I'm appreciative that you came. The people that are here for your first time, I truly understand how hard it can be just to come to a group because you don't know what to expect. You don't know how people are going to be. A lot of people don't come because they think they're going to come and sit in a setting where everyone's going to be crying and having a pity party. And that's just the reason why I even did these groups, was in hopes that we would have an avenue to come in where we could share our garbage and let it out, but we would do something with it and do something about it and turn it into a positive avenue, whether it be with meditation and exercise or doing our cleanse or doing the pedal spin or doing different things. Just we have to keep our mind busy and positive. So on that note, today's subject is meditation and exercise. I wrote some notes down that I just wanted to share with you guys. A lot of times when I have a topic coming up, I really pray and meditate on it, and different thoughts that come up to me throughout the week. I just want to make sure I share them all with you guys. Now I threw exercise in there because, you know, oftentimes we cater to the physical but not not the mental. Today we're gonna be catering and thinking and talking and understanding the mental part with meditation, but I wanted to throw in the exercise part. And exercise is not always physical, because if you guys that do exercise, you know, sometimes when you do, if you go for a walk or a jog or whatever type of exercise you like to do, sometimes you just feel really good. You feel energized, you feel accomplished, you feel like you've relieved a little bit of stress, maybe something that you were angry about, you're not as angry about anymore. So exercises help mental, and I'm hoping that I can help people change their lives with these support groups by helping them change their habits. The things that you do on a daily basis are your habits, and they can make you or break you, and they can help you to, you know, be healthier. So that's my goal here. And just because you have a physical disability, that should not mean that you are physically inactive. So if you're exercising appropriately, there are a few benefits. So a couple of them is it definitely helps you break the fatigue, because you guys know we deal with fatigue, and that's for me, that was one of the worst ones, because I would be so fatigued that I couldn't do anything, and then I would be upset because I couldn't do anything, then I would be depressed, and then I would be depressed, and then that would lead to other things, and then I would have anxiety because I wasn't sleeping at night, because I was laying in bed all day, because I was too fatigued to do anything, to exert energy. So it's just like this ongoing cycle of like, now I'm depressed, now I'm fatigued, now I'm gained weight, now I'm just laying there, I'm hopeless. You know, so it's just like this, like you said, this ongoing cycle, and it's just like, at some point we gotta figure out, the way I broke the cycle might not be the same way she does, you know, but these are why the reasons why we come here, because there are certain ways to exercise that Regina gets in that I don't like, or vice versa, but we share it so that we can all get different ideas on how to break out of that cycle. So fatigue and the out of shape deconditioning. So that just means multiple changes in your body organ systems brought on by inactivity. So imagine if you are in a hospital bed, as I once was for a week on end, and you're just laying there. You know, you maybe get up to go use the restroom. I didn't. I actually had to go right there, unfortunately. And sorry if that was TMI, but I mean, it's just the reality of what it was. And your body becomes inactive for so long, and that affects your organs. So you become, that was a word that I learned yesterday. It's just called out of shape deconditioning. So that can be reversed with activity. So once you're active and doing some sort of exercise, it's going to help you with circulation, even digestion. It strengthens your muscles, and for us, we get a lot of joint pain. So for me personally, I have issues with my knees and my shoulders. So what I really focus on is strengthening the muscles around that, so that I'm not putting as much pressure on the knees and my shoulders. It helps decrease depression. Matter of fact, just yesterday, my husband came home and I was so out of it. And I told you yesterday, I was so exhausted. I really just wanted to just lay there and just be pitiful. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to work out? And I'm like, you know what? I really don't feel like it, but let's just go. And I went, and I didn't do much, but 15, 20 minutes of activity. I came home and I felt so energized. I felt so much better about, you know, the rest of my evening. So it helps decrease depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Something that I've learned is that when you get to the point of being able to exert yourself throughout the day, sometimes you'll naturally be super tired by the end of the night, because you were able to do something physical throughout the day that causes your body to just want to go to sleep. Focusing on exercises and environments. Regina says all the time she doesn't like going in the gym to work out. Some people find that they rather be outdoors. I think that's better, to be able to be in nature. For us, we have to be careful though, because we'll be in the sun and we'll end up getting, you know, breaking out into a rash or being sick. So you have to be careful. With lupus, you have to, you know, gauge the environment, but picking the environment that's right for you. Maybe it's at home alone. Maybe you need someone to motivate you. Maybe you like being in the gym. Maybe you like going for a walk. You just have to determine what that is for you and try to stick to it. Expectations and guilt. A lot of times I've noticed the years of doing these support groups, there's an expectation that people have. Well, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this many, and people don't get you. They don't get where you're at. They don't get your story. They don't understand you have a walker. They don't understand that you may not feel like dealing with the difficulties of bringing your walker, explaining to someone why you can't do this or why you prefer this. That don't allow people, the people that were here for the group last month, we said that a lot of people felt bad because they were using their handicap sticker. Don't allow people to make you feel bad. Use your handicap sticker, use your walker, do what you need to do. I know Regina doesn't, but wherever you are in your space, if you work out every single day and that's where you are and that's where you're comfortable with, feel good about that.
We call it our VIP.
Yeah, I mean, call it your VIP. Whatever you feel comfortable with, and don't feel guilty or ashamed. Because
I dare you say something.
and then you have people that have that much confidence. They're like, please. But I know so many people, like, they won't step a foot in the gym because they're afraid that people will judge them because of the little amount of weight they lift, or maybe they can't do an exercise right. And those are the people that I'm just looking at like, please let me help you. Like, I want people to know, like, wherever you are in your journey, do you think these people that are in there doing all that, they started there? No,
Right.
Everybody started somewhere.
Right.
You know, and so be comfortable where you are and never let how other people look at you or judge you dictate what you're gonna do, you know. That's really important. I want you guys to remember that too. And because I don't know, this has just been on my mind heavy for the past few months or so, and then when my mom brought it up, I figured I'd just share it and see where it goes. But you guys know since the beginning of the year, I've been offering the 10-day cleanse. So this time, what I wanted to do with that 10-day cleanse was offer an exercise program. So basically what it would mean is you would do the 10-day cleanse, you would do a 14-day exercise program with me. Pricing and all that stuff we can discuss if there is one, but what we would do is like just look at you, where you are, what you want to accomplish. You know what? I just want to be able to walk around my block every morning. Okay, that's a great goal. I want to be able to sit through a whole 30-minute class of yoga. Okay, that's fine. I want to be able to do 5 to 10 minutes of uninterrupted meditation. Okay, whatever goal that you have for the space that you're in, I want to just help you, just give you an extra push. And in that, I feel like what you're eating and what you're putting in your body is going to also help you, you know, kind of navigate, maybe be more motivated or have more energy to be better at that. So if that's something that you're interested in, again, it's going to be a part of the 10-day cleanse that I've been talking about since the beginning of the year. And then I'm just going to also offer on top of that 14 days of me helping you exercise. I have a membership at a gym that allows me to give 14-day VIP passes, so you could come join me, or however we decide you want to work it out. It will just be 10 days of me sharing the healthy eating habits that I've learned, and then 14 days of the type of exercise that you're interested in. So enough of me talking. I know Dr. Rose is like, when am I going to get to talk?
I'm enjoying myself.
Good, I'm glad. Well, so as I mentioned to some of you earlier, I graduated with my bachelor's in business administration from University of Verne, and one of my favorite classes was with Professor Rose, Dr. Rose. And just for me, meditation is so powerful, and I think once you understand it and learn the concept behind it and actually begin practicing it, it's just crazy how much of a difference it makes in your life. So of course, you guys, like I tell you all the time, anything that I learn about that has helped me, I'm so excited to share with you guys. And I feel so blessed and honored that I have people like this that will come and take time out of their day to sit here and teach us and show us and guide us. So with that said, if you guys could welcome Dr. and Professor Rose to our group today.
Well, thank you. It's truly a pleasure to be with you. The first thing I'd like to do is have us move into what I'm going to call a sacred circle. Okay, so we're going to stay in our seats as they are. This bench can stay here. I'm going to bring this bench over to this space here. There you are. About right. It will work. You can come. I'm making a circle. I'm making a circle. So she's spotted right there. So I'm bringing her up.
Let's just stand over there.
Yeah, there you go. And then we'll go here in a little bit. That's perfect. Okay. Then we're going to tilt this chair in. There. You're going to come there.
Okay.
Here. Tilt a little bit. Yeah. Circle represents equality. It represents eternity. And everyone in the circle is at the same level and is equal during this session. We are going to have conversation, and there's another symbol that is very important in terms of the way in which we will be conducting our circle. And it's usually a talking stick. Some of you may have participated in circles where a talking stick is used. I don't have a stick, but I'm going to use my keys. And the keys are also symbolic in that the person who has the keys has the ability to speak to the circle, and everyone else is listening. So there's much more listening that is taking place than speaking. But when it is your turn, you will have the set of keys, and the key is to listen to the person who has the key, because they've got a key for our conversation. One other symbol that we're going to use is this watch. And we're going to place the
Turn it towards you.
watch in the center.
And then zoom it in on him so that no one else is in the video.
Something isn't working.
Let me see. Sorry.
We're using the watch as the centerpiece, as the focal point of the circle. Oftentimes when sacred circles are utilized, everyone brings something to the circle that sits in the center that represents the communal body that has gathered. We're using the watch and time as our focal piece because it is something that is common to us all. We are all in this moment in time. And I believe this is actually a very crucial moment in time because of the state of the world in which we are currently living. And so without going into the many challenges that exist in our world, we recognize that this is a very important time for all of us to become more mindful of who we are and of what we are doing. The way in which we are going to conduct our time today is I'm going to walk through the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer is a Christian prayer that was prayed by the founder of Christianity, Jesus, and it serves as an instruction to his followers about the proper way to pray to God the Father, the most expedient way, I would say, to pray to the Father in terms of opening up one's spirituality to what the Father would have that individual to do. The way in which I'm going to share the Lord's Prayer is I'm going to compare it to a Hindu meditation system called Kundalini Yoga, which has 7 points along the spinal cord that are called chakra points or energy centers. And I'm using this as a reference because I use it as a reference because it's in my book, but it's also important today because as Kim was starting out this session, she was calling it a meditation exercise. And so one of the concepts that I would like for us to walk away with today is the notion that meditation is an exercise that also involves the physicality of your body. So meditation is not only a spiritual exercise, but it is really ingrained within your actual physical being. And a scriptural passage that can bring this to mind for those of you who are Christian is, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. And so that passage of scripture reminds us that within our very beings, we carry the Holy Spirit and our connection to God Almighty. And so by utilizing this prayer that we are going to walk through, it helps to improve your relationship with God so that you can see what God's purpose is for your life. Now, it doesn't necessarily all come right away. It takes practice. One has to exercise these particular principles in order to really have the benefit of the exercise itself. So before I go into the Lord's Prayer, what I'd like for us to do is to all make a contribution to our practice here today by simply sharing what it is they're going to watch for in this particular time. Okay? And it can be a couple of words or a sentence. We don't want to go too long, but what are you going to watch for in this particular moment in time? And once we have gone around the room, I will then begin the meditation. And so, what will you watch for in this time? And you don't have to respond. If you choose not to, you can simply pass the key or the talking stick to the next person.
Okay, I think I was setting up the camera when you were describing what we're supposed to say that we're watching for.
You are watching for whatever you want to see in yourself in this moment of time. So
okay.
I don't know what you're watching for.
Okay, I got you. I'm watching for peace, understanding, an open mind, and again, peace so that I can hear and understand the will, the way, the words that God has for my life in order to be a vessel for others. Growth.
The ability to let go of my emotions.
A healthy balance of emotions. Painlessness.
Relaxation, peace, healing.
Control their emotions. Just healing and positive energy.
Relaxation and let go of those feelings when I know I don't have full control.
I'm watching to be able to overcome this disease and be able to help a lot of people from what I've done.
Thank you all for sharing. I'm going to walk through the Lord's Prayer. The traditional prayer is, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I was teaching this prayer in a Bible study at church and decided that I wanted to look at every verse of the prayer very, very carefully in order to really emphasize what Jesus was seeking to put forward. And I'm a professor of religion and philosophy, and I've studied a multiplicity of religious traditions. And as I was going through the Lord's Prayer, I began to see a remarkable similarity again to this Kundalini yoga system that is within the Hindu religious tradition. And so the process that I'm going to share with you is meant to be a mnemonic device, or a way of helping you in your time of meditation to focus on particular focal points or energy centers within your body that correspond to the emphasis of the Lord's Prayer, to help with many of the things that you all have identified as what you are watching for or looking for in this particular moment in time. And so what I'm going to ask is that you simply relax, breathe deeply, or breathe shallow in a shallow manner, whatever is most comfortable for you during this time. But you just take in what I am offering. Seek to visualize within yourself the various energy centers as I walk through them, and the aspect of the prayer that is being emphasized at that point in time. And then once we have gone through the entire exercise, I will come back and we will share again, if we wish, what we have seen in the process. All right. So beginning with the first verse of the prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. This particular verse refers to the Malahadra chakra, which is at the base of your spine. So if you can visualize the very base of your spine, it's really the space in which you are sitting, just above there where you feel the stability of your being. Your cheeks are on the chair, and right there where your cheeks are seated in the center is the base of your spine, which when seated firmly is in a very relaxed and rested position. That spot becomes your space of security, your space of stability, and meets your basic needs. It encompasses the first three vertebrae, the bladder and the colon. When this chakra is open, we feel safe and fearless. When this chakra is open, we feel safe and fearless. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We often say that verse, but don't take time to recognize exactly what we're saying when we use that term, hallowed. Hallowed be thy name means that we are honoring, respecting, and recognizing the holiness of God Almighty. I'd like to share a little of the reflection that I have in this work around this particular verse. The first stage or wheel of the meditation provides a sense of groundedness and security. It is a stable base from which to move forward. In yoga, this stage is at the base of the spine. The term hallowed is understood to mean holy or blessed and highly respected. In Jesus' teachings, he refers to this aspect of being as Abba, or Father. The term helps to denote the dynamic personal relationship held within the totality of God, both in its metaphysical and creative aspect. In this section of the prayer, it is necessary for us to let go of the scientific worldview that honors science as Lord, and to honor the nature of spirit. God is spirit, and those who worship God must worship God in spirit and truth. Our Western culture has a type of double-mindedness regarding spirit and material science. In the deep recesses of our consciousness, we often see science as governing the physical realm, which we believe to be supported by unalterable natural laws. All things, even physical laws, when understood spiritually, are seen as based in God's nature. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, the most exhaustive revelation regarding the nature of God is found in the appearance of God to Moses. God identified God's being to Moses as Aye, Asher, Aye, which can be translated as I am, or I will be, or I shall be, who or what I am, or I will be, or I shall be, it is reasonable to conclude that the expression Aye Asher Aye illustrates the freedom of God to be whatever God wills God's being to be. The expression characterizes God both as being and becoming. To fully follow the path outlined here, we should feel grounded by a conceptualization of God that understands God as that than which nothing greater can be conceived or thought. Due to God's nature, God is honored as the ground of existence, and then the process is set to begin. The idea here is that when we go into this Lord's Prayer, we recognize that God is able to cure, God is able to do, God is the ground of all existence, and we are putting ourselves in the presence of the most magnificent principle in the universe. And it is from that space that we move to the second verse. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. The second chakra is located in the groin region. The Savasthana chakra is our creativity and sexual center. It is located above the pubic bone, below the navel, and is responsible for our creative expression. I want to share real quickly just a couple of verses from Genesis, the first chapter. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature. The second stage of the prayer is with regard to our creativity. And our creativity is built in our heavenly vision of God. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So one of the things that we recognize is that we put our will in God's will. We put our will in a harmonious state of existence, and we expect to see that perfection of God in the space that we are in fact living. And so we call upon the most powerful aspect of the created order, that is God. And we use God's creativity that is a part of our own creativity to create a world that is like the world that we have seen in our heavenly vision. That's the second verse. Third verse. Give us this day our daily bread. The Manipura chakra means lustrous gem and is the area from the navel to the breastbone. The third chakra is our source of personal power. The third energy center is the area from the navel to the breastbone, and it is seen as our source of personal power. In Jesus' prayer, the idea is that God empowers us daily to accomplish each task. In other words, this statement is about sustenance for the work that God has assigned each person in terms of purpose. If you are focused on the task at hand, the task for today, and it is according to God's will, as seen in Meditation 2, you'll be successful in your work and prayer. What we find is that our purpose, when drawing upon the fullness of our creativity, which is secured in God's nature, is destined for manifestation. In other words, give us this day our daily bread is basically asking God to give us the resources that we need to make it through whatever the challenges are for a particular day or a particular moment. And it is by God's grace and God's power that he's going to meet that need for you in that moment of time. And because those needs are being satisfied, we can be full and recognize that we haven't done it of our own strength, but of a strength that is supernatural. And so in that space, we can recognize God's power, not our own power, but the power that comes from the Almighty. Give us this day our daily bread. The verse is also meant to keep us from worrying too much about tomorrow and the things that we need not concern ourselves with today. For the troubles, the challenges of this moment are enough to keep us focused and keep us busy. And God has promised that He will give us the resources to accomplish that particular task. So we can recognize in that personal space of power. And I like to remind myself that in the martial arts, whenever they key out, it comes from that space. And so God has given you in that space the resources, the power that you need to accomplish any task for yourself. Let's look at the 4th verse. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them that trespass against us. The 4th chakra is located at the heart center. The 4th chakra, Anahata, is at the middle of the 7 and unites the lower chakras of matter and the upper chakras of spirit. The 4th is also spiritual, but serves as a bridge between our body, mind, emotions, and spirit. The heart chakra is our source of love and connection. Here, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, reminds us of the relationship that we have with others who are in our community. And if we are seeking to do God's will, if we are seeking to be harmonious with the universe, and we are asking God to forgive those things that we may have done that keep us out of right fellowship with Him, He is also saying that He would like for us to make sure we have right relationship with those who are around us. And so as we work to clean up the difficulties, the challenges, some might even say the mess that we have developed in the relationships around us, as those things are improved, then our focus on our role with God and God's purpose for our lives becomes clarified as well. And as that becomes clarified, we can move more smoothly into the things that God would have us to do, and in terms of reconciling purpose persons to ourselves, being reconciled with God, and moving forward on our spiritual journey. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's the heart chakra.